Join us now for Education Matters, a weekly look at the real people and real stories in education across North Carolina.
Welcome to another episode of Education Matters presented by the Public School Forum of North Carolina. I'm your host, Keith Poston. Today on the show, we're going to talk about preparing our next generation of school leaders. Why is principal development important? What are we doing well? And what are the gaps and challenges in North Carolina? Like every week, before we tackle our main topic, we open with our segment we call Edlines, a quick scan of education headlines across North Carolina and the U.S. Last week, the North Carolina House passed HB 6, the Ed Finance Reform Task Force PED report bill. This bill will create a new 19-member task force on education finance reform that will begin work on or before October 1st of this year. The task force will be charged with studying and then developing a new funding model for the state's public schools based on a new weighted student formula, an approach we talked about on an earlier program. It's unclear how the Senate might approach it. Last week, one of the topics we talked about on the show was LGBT youth in our schools. The same day we taped, the Trump administration released an order that reversed previous guidance by the Obama administration that said transgender students have the right to use public school restrooms that match their gender identity. The Department of Education and Department of Justice notified the U.S. Supreme Court late last Wednesday that the administration is ordering the nation's schools to disregard that previous guidance. Observers believe the Supreme Court is still likely to take up the matter at some point given lower court rulings and ongoing challenges. 2 weeks ago, we focused on North Carolina's private school voucher program. This past week, the New York Times reported on several recent studies that have been done on existing private school voucher programs, and the results are not good. In fact, 3 new studies show private school vouchers may actually harm students who receive them. In Indiana, voucher students who transfer to private schools experience significant losses in math achievement and no improvement in reading. In Louisiana, researchers found large negative results in both reading and math. Public elementary school students who started in the 50th percentile in math actually dropped to 26th percentile after transferring to a private school. And then the most recent study, which was released by a pro-school choice Fordham Institute, found that Ohio students who use vouchers to attend private schools fared worse academically compared to their peers attending public schools. Finally, on a positive note, coming out of the College Board, the number of U.S. high school students taking advanced placement or AP tests continues to rise, and so do the results. Last year, 1.1 million students nationally took AP exams with an average of 21.9%, scoring high enough to earn college credit. Massachusetts led all states with 31% of its students hitting that mark. National data shows the number of public high school students taking at least one AP exam has doubled in 10 years. North Carolina students, while scoring slightly under the national average, did show gains too and high enough AP scores to rank the state 19th overall. Remember, you can visit the Public School Forum's website at ncforum.org, click on Education Matters, and read more about each of these Edlines as well as all the other topics we cover each week.